Alright, okay. In this video, I will show you and I will explain to you about chain rule. Okay, so for the previous video, we already, I already explained on how to use product rule and also quotient rule. So now we enter the another one, the another basic rule, which is chain rule, and then we go to the power rule. Okay, so chain rule is be used when you have a macam complex function lah, not so complex tapi dia ada macam maybe it will involve with power and so on. Okay, so that one usually we will use chain rule. Okay, so and also usually chain rule and also power rule it's related to each other. Maksudnya that question you can use by using power rule or you can use by using chain rule. Either way lah, maksudnya boleh choose. Tapi if the question stated that you need to solve it by using chain rule, so means that you need to use chain rule lah. Okay, kalau you guna power rule, that means your answer will be wrong. Okay, you need to follow the instruction. You need to follow what the question asks you to do it. Okay. Alright, so chain rule. Okay, example, let's say you have a function of, okay, yeah, of course lah, the question will be asked you to find differentiation lah dy dx when, okay, when y is equal to 2x squared plus 5 power of negative 5. Okay, oh yeah, actually chain rule dia adalah dia punya what we call the rule lah, the statement of that rule. So but that one you can refer to the slide. I just go to the example. Okay, alright, so for example now the question asks you to find dy dx when y equal to 2x squared plus 5 dy dx. Okay, alright, so what we do first, okay, you can see that this term, okay, inside here, inside the bracket they have a function that have 2x squared plus 5. So we will let inside the function ni, we will let with another alphabet. You can choose lah, and then tak ada masalah pun you want to use A, B, C, D, tak kisah pun. Okay, so let's say I use W, so I let the W equal to 2x squared plus 5. Okay, so automatically my Y equation now, okay, because this is Y, right? So my Y equation now it become W power of negative 5 lah, because I already replaced the whole thing here with W, right? Okay, so then what we do next? We differentiate dy dw. We differentiate dy dw. So differentiate y with respect to w, not with respect to x, with respect to w. Okay. So this is chain rule. Okay, this is how chain rule punya steps. Okay, so what we have here, negative 5 w power of negative 6. Is it correct kan? Okay, so now find out dw dx. Okay, tadi dy dw, so now dw dx. So differentiate this term, this function with respect to x. So you have 4x. Okay, so the answer will be, okay, because the question asks you to find dy dx, right? So the answer will be, or the formula here is dy dw dot, or multiply lah, okay, dw dx. So this is the formula that I mentioned just now. Yang saya lupa nak tulis tapi okay, I write here. Okay, so this is the chain rule formula. Dy dx so equal to dy dw, or any alphabet that you use, dA ke apa-apa ke, but then you will multiply with itself. Maksudnya kalau sini dw, atas dia kena dw ke sini. Okay, so dw dx. So you already have these two kan, you dah calculate or you dah differentiate these two, so just substitute what you have here. So dy dw is negative 5w negative 6 times with dw dx is 4x. So the answer will be negative 20 xw negative 6. Okay, so this is not the final answer yet. Okay, this is not the final answer. Why? Okay, why? this question asks you to find dy dx. So the variable that should be involved here is only y and x lah. Maksudnya y equal to x. Mesti ada x only. Cannot be more than that. Cannot be any other variable others than x. So you can see that you have a w here, right? So what we do next? Okay, negative 20, x remain. So now this w you need to replace back with the original one, which is this one, the original one. So you will substitute back 2x squared plus 5. Okay. Don't forget the power, negative 6. So this is the answer. Okay, so this is the answer, or this is the steps that you need to do it one by one for the chain rule. Okay, so now I want to show if the question asks you to use power rule. Okay, power rule is more simple compared to chain rule lah. So I will use the same example. Okay, y equal to 2x squared plus 5, right tadi? Okay, so I will use the example, but now by using power rule. Okay, power rule. So power rule is just simple. So the question asks you to find dy dx. So you can see that you have a power here, negative 5. Okay, so what we do is the power you put it down, you put it in front of it. So negative 5 you put it down here, and inside the bracket it will remain. Okay, inside the bracket it will remain the same, 2x squared plus 5, and the power just now is negative 5, right? So negative 5 we minus with 1, same, sama juga macam kita buat differentiation biasa. So berikan negative 6. Okay, this is not the final answer yet. Ramai akan silap kalau buat power rule ni, akan ramai buat careless mistake. Dia akan stop until here only. Salah. What we do next, what suppose you do, you need to do is you need to differentiate what inside the bracket. What inside the bracket you need to differentiate and you multiply lah. So inside the bracket we have 4x. Okay, alright. So then simplify. You have negative 20x, 2x squared plus 5 power negative 6, which is this answer, and the previous one is equal, similar, sama kan, sama. Jawapan kita dapat untuk chain rule tadi dengan jawapan yang kita guna power rule is equal. Okay, so that's why I say that chain rule and power rule is something that can be related to each other lah. Maksudnya dua-dua boleh dapat jawapan yang sama, but you need to follow the question instruction lah. If the question instruction asks you to use chain rule, so that's mean you need to use chain rule. Okay. Alright, so this is the chain rule and also what we call the power rule. Okay, so another one example. Okay, find dy dx when y equal to e power of x cubed plus 1. Okay, by using chain rule, okay, I will show it side by side. Okay, chain rule and also power rule. Okay, alright. Okay, so I will start with chain rule first. So chain rule first, you need to let w, right? Okay, so which term that you need to write w? Kalau tadi for the previous example, we will let the w inside the bracket, because the bracket will power something. So inside the bracket we will let u. Actually it doesn't, dia tak ada criteria yang fix lah untuk apa yang kita kena let u, apa yang nak. Tapi I think that is naturally that when you get the question you will okay, this one is let u, w. For example, this question automatically I believe that most of you will say that w is x cubed plus 1. Yes, and it's correct lah. Maksudnya memang dia macam ada satu kita dah biasa buat, kita akan tahu okay, w dia kat mana, w dia apa yang kita akan let. Okay, so we will let w x cubed plus 1. So automatically your y now it become e power of w, right? Okay, e power of w. So now we want to differentiate dy dw first. Okay, what we have here, dy dw. So exponential, when you differentiate exponential, I already said it before in the previous video, it will always get it back. Maksudnya dia akan dapat diri dia balik. Exponential, differentiate exponential will get back exponential. And the power also semua sama. Kalau sini w, sini w. Okay, but they have one more steps that you need to do is you need to differentiate again. Differentiate your power. Okay, differentiate the power pula. So here the power is W. So you differentiate W. What we have? We have 1. Okay, 1 lah. Differentiate W dapat 1. So you put it in front. Tak boleh tulis tak apa sebab ni 1 kan. Tak payah tulis. Tapi I just want to show you. Let's say if you have e power of 2W, e power of 3W. So this is the steps. After you differentiate exponential itself, you will get back the exponential. But then you need to differentiate the power and then put it in front. Okay. Alright. So this is your dy dw. How about the dw dx? Okay. Differentiate this with respect to x. So you have 3x square, right? Okay, then lastly, the question asks you to find dy dx. So just substitute here. So you write the formula first, dy dw dot dw dx. So dy dw just now is e power of w, and dw dx just now is 3x square. And this is not the final answer yet because you can see that it still appear W here. We don't want to have W because the question asks you to find dy dx. So means that the final answer must be only x. Okay. So you just replace your W here with e power of x cubed plus 1 times 3x square. You can simplify lah. Saya tak cukup space kat sini. But you can simplify or yeah, actually this is the answer lah. Tak ada apa-apa pun. Just open the bracket. Okay. Alright. So this is the answer. Okay. So now, how about power rule? Okay. Power rule. Okay. Sama juga macam saya tunjuk in the previous example. So it's simple. It's just direct forward lah. Dia kata macam tu nak compare to this one. Okay. Alright. So dy dx. So means that you need to differentiate exponential power of x cubed. Okay. Like I said before, again I repeat. Differentiate exponential, we will get back the exponential. Okay, you akan dapat exactly sama dengan soalan lah. Tak ada perubahan apa-apa. Kalau sini e power of something, e power of u, e power of u lah. Okay, so e power of x cubed plus 1. Then what need to do now is the power. Okay, macam tadi you kena differentiate kan power, sama jugalah. So we will differentiate the power. We say the power here is x cubed plus 1. So differentiate x cubed plus 1. What we have? 3x square. Okay, 3x square. After you differentiate x cubed plus 1, you will get 3x square. So that 3x square you put it in front here. So this is the answer. Okay, compare kan, panjang kan. Kalau untuk cara dia panjang, power rule is just straightforward. Okay, alright. Okay, so usually memang kita akan guna power rule, tapi macam I selalu cakap tadi, you need to follow the instruction. You need to follow what the question asks you to do it. Okay, but yeah, but in a common, selalu kita akan guna power rule lah. It's more shorter compared to chain rule. Okay, so we finish on differentiation analytical. Okay, because of what? Because kenapa ada analytical pula? Kenapa saya highlight analytical? Because of in differentiation we have two approach. There are two approach. So the first one is analytical. What we learn for this week. For next week we will proceed with the differentiation numerical. Okay, numerical. So for that one, it's a lot of formula that you need to know or you don't need to memorize because I think because we are online, right? So test, final, semua open book, so you don't need to memorize. Okay, even in the final, if your final is face to face pun, that formula will be given. Okay, tak perlu nak memorize, cuma you kena faham bila you nak guna formula tu, because for that one is banyaklah formula dia, around 12. Okay, that chapter. Okay, so yeah, we have finished differentiation analytical, so we will see next week for numerical. Okay, differentiation numerical. Alright.